friends can actually help you learn English.
Yeah.
I know, right? You wouldn't think it, but there's a lot to unpack here.
It really is fascinating.
Especially like if you're, trying to get ready for a big meeting at work or just brush up on your conversational skills.
It's funny because the source we're looking at actually talks about how different textbook English is from how people actually talk.
And Friends is like the perfect example of that.
Yeah, it's full of like idioms and slang and...
Like, how you doing?
Exactly. You see that in a dictionary and it's just like, oh, that's a greeting.
Right.
But if you've seen the show,
Yeah.
there's so many different ways that can be used.
Oh,
It
yeah.
could be flirty or friendly.
Oh, it could be oblivious.
Exactly. And that's the kind of stuff that you just don't get from textbooks.
No, and it's not just Joey Chandler with his sarcasm. I mean,
Oh my God.
how would you even...
Can I be airy anymore?
Yeah, like, how do you translate that?
Yeah,
That's a whole language of its own.
exactly. And that's actually what makes it both tricky and really valuable for language learning.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Because it's not just about memorizing words. It's about tone and context and cultural cues, things that you really only pick up through immersion, not just by like reading a textbook or memorizing flashcards.
It's like you're actually living there.
Yeah.
Which brings us back to our friend's deep dive, because the source actually has this fun little quiz section.
Oh, yeah?
Where they give you a quote from the show and you have to try to figure out the meaning.
Love that.
So you want to try a couple?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, cool. So think like an English learner right now.
Okay.
Here's the first one. We were on a break.
Ooh, classic.
It's the classic Ross and Rachel drama.
Yeah.
But, like, if English isn't your first language, what does that even mean? Does it mean they were on vacation? Did they break up for good?
Right.
Like, how would you figure that out?
Just take a second. Think about it.
Yep. Yeah, put yourself in those shoes.
Yeah. What clues would you use?
I love this because it actually makes you think instead of just, like, parroting back the quote.
Yeah. It's not just about getting the right answer.
Yeah.
It's about, like, understanding the why.
Exactly.
So we'll give you a little time to ponder that one.
Okay.
And then we'll get into why it's so tricky.
All right, so while they're pondering, I'll give the short answer, which is that they were temporarily separated.
Yeah.
But the humor and like the years of drama that come from it are because they have very different interpretations of what that separation actually meant.
Exactly.
And that's like a whole cultural context thing.
Yeah, it is.
All right, you ready for the next one?
Yes, bring it on.
Okay, pivot. Pivot. Pivot.
Oh, I can hear Ross yelling it.
You can totally hear it in your head.
So clearly.
But if you just take the word pivot and you didn't have that visual, what does that even mean?
Right?
Like, is it a dance move?
Totally.
Is it something you do in business?
Like, what makes it so funny and memorable in this context?
Yeah, you really have to think about that.
Well, it's the couch.
Yes.
It's that they're trying to get that couch up the stairs.
Exactly. And the word pivot just takes on this whole new meaning.
A whole new life.
Yes.
And it's just so visual.
And that's exactly why I think pop culture is such a good tool for language learning.
Yeah.
Because it connects the language to an experience.
Yes.
And that helps it stick in your mind so much better than,
Way better than a dictionary.
Exactly.
Right.
All right. You ready for another one?
Get me?
Okay. Let's do a slightly more challenging one this time.
Oh, okay. Okay. I like a cello.
This is Rachel, and she's saying, it's not that blank, it doesn't happen to every guy, and it is a big deal.
Ooh.
So what's the missing word, and why is it important?
Ooh, that is tricky.
I know, right?
Okay, so...
I mean, there are a lot of words that could fit grammatically.
Right.
But think about Rachel.
Yeah.
Think about her personality, her tone of voice.
What word would she use in this kind of complaint?
Oh, man, I can hear her saying it. Like, I can hear her voice.
You can just hear her voice.
Uh-huh.
And that's the thing. It's about absorbing those subtle cues.
Yeah.
So the answer is common.
Okay.
But even more important than just getting the right answer is understanding why that word is so quintessentially Rachel.
Yes.
And that's the kind of stuff that takes you from just understanding English to actually speaking it.
That's brilliant.
I know, right?
We've only done, 3 examples?
I know.
And it's already so clear that Friends is way more than just a sitcom.
It is.
It's like a language learning goldmine.
It is. And you know what's really cool?
What?
What we've learned from Friends actually applies to language learning in general.
Ooh. Okay.
You ready to go even deeper on that?
Lead the way.
All right, let's do it. So we've been talking a lot about Friends, but this idea actually goes way beyond English.
Okay.
Think about any other language you might be learning. Like imagine you're watching a show in that language.
Okay, yeah.
The same principles apply.
So it's not really about friends specifically. It's more about using pop culture to help you learn.
Exactly. Like, let's say you're learning Spanish and you start watching telenovelas. You're going to
Oh,
pick up so much slang and like regional accents, even cultural references that you just wouldn't find in a textbook.
that's so
It's
true.
like a crash course in how people actually speak.
You know what? It's funny you say that because I remember when I was learning Japanese, I watched a ton of anime.
There you go.
And I swear it helped me more than any textbook ever did.
It makes sense though, right?
Yeah.
Our brains are wired to learn through stories, through emotions, and pop culture gives you that.
Yeah, it makes it so much more engaging.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that immersion
Yeah.
that really makes the language stick.
So it's not just about memorizing vocabulary. It's almost like you're absorbing the language subconsciously.
Exactly. Like when you're really hooked on a show,
Yeah.
you're not sitting there analyzing the grammar.
No, you're just trying to figure out what's going to happen next.
Right. You're just trying to keep up with the story and the jokes and the characters. But in doing that, you're internalizing the rhythm of the language,
Yeah.
the nuances, the way native speakers actually use it.
It's like learning by osmosis, but more fun.
Way more fun.
Okay, so we've got Friends for English, telenovelas for Spanish. What other shows would you recommend for language learning?
Oh, I love this game.
Give us the inside scoop.
Okay, so for French, I would say Call My Agent.
Okay.
It's really witty and sharp and full of that like Parisian slang that you just won't find in a textbook.
Oh, I love that show.
So good.
Plus, it's about show business, so it's extra fun.
Exactly.
And for Korean, I bet K-dramas are amazing.
Oh, they're a goldmine.
Yeah.
They're everywhere right now. And there's literally a genre for everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're so engaging, you get sucked into the storylines and you're picking up everyday phrases and cultural cues without even realizing it.
Okay, so for someone who's actually trying to learn a language with this method, what are some tips?
Well, first of all, find shows that you genuinely enjoy.
Right.
That's key. Because if you're bored, you're not going to stick with it.
Yeah, you're not going to learn anything.
Exactly. So what are you already into?
Right.
Comedies, thrillers, reality TV.
Mm-hmm.
There's a language learning opportunity hidden in there somewhere.
I love that.
It's not about forcing yourself to watch something educational.
Right.
It's about making language learning part of your regular entertainment.
Sneaky but brilliant.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to experiment.
Okay.
Start with subtitles and then challenge yourself to turn them off for a bit.
Oh, that's a good one.
Find online communities where people are discussing the show in the language you're learning. The more you immerse yourself, the faster you'll progress.
It's all about finding those moments where you're like, aha.
Yes.
Like the phrase just clicks or you understand a joke
Exactly.
because you've absorbed enough of the culture.
Yes. That's so rewarding.
It feels good.
It does. And speaking of those aha moments, I think it's time we shift gears a little bit
Okay.
and talk about the underlying why of all of this.
Okay.
Why does this pop culture approach actually work so well?
All right.
Get ready for some brain science.
I'm ready. Hit me with it.
It's about to get really interesting.
All right. So we've gone from could I be E anymore to telenovelas to K-dramas. My brain is like buzzing with all these ideas.
It's exciting, right?
But you mentioned some brain science behind all this, like why it actually works.
Yeah, so what's really cool is that this whole pop culture approach actually plays to our strengths as learners. Like, we're not meant to just memorize dry facts and rules.
It makes sense when you put it like that.
We thrive on stories and emotions and context.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's like instead of just drilling vocab words, you're getting the language served with like a side of drama and humor.
Exactly. And think about it this way, like reading a textbook versus getting lost in a good book.
Yeah, totally different experience.
One feels like work, the other one's an escape.
Yeah.
Pop culture gives you that immersive world where you actually want to learn
Yeah.
without even realizing it.
It's sneaky.
It is.
It's really sneaky.
It's like the best kind of learning because you don't even realize you're doing it.
Exactly. And like when I'm binge watching a show, I'm not thinking about the grammar.
You know?
I just want to know what happens next.
Right. You're just completely caught up in it.
But I am picking up the language, right?
You are. You got it. It's like sneaky learning at its best. And because it's tied to emotions, it sticks in your memory way better than a flashcard or a dry textbook definition.
And it's like that feeling when you finally understand a joke in another language.
Yes.
It's not just about the words.
Yeah.
You're getting the culture.
Yeah.
You're getting the humor, the whole context.
And those are the magic moments.
Yeah.
And they happen organically when you're immersed in pop culture. Like suddenly a phrase you've heard a million times
Yeah.
just clicks.
Yeah.
You get the slang, the double meanings, all the stuff that makes you feel like you're really speaking the language.
Not just reciting it. It's like you're in the club.
You're part of the in-group.
So it's more than just like a language learning hack. It's almost like connecting with another culture on a deeper level.
That's exactly what makes it so powerful. It's not just about acquiring a skill.
Yeah.
It's about expanding your worldview, understanding different perspectives, even connecting with people you might never have met otherwise.
Man, we started with friends, and now we're talking about like global connection. This deep dive took us places.
Really did.
Any final words of wisdom for our listeners before we sign off?
Absolutely. I would say embrace the journey.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes, to sound silly, to be totally lost in translation sometimes.
Yeah,
Those are the moments where you learn the most.
I love that.
Really.
And don't forget to have fun.
Yes.
Find shows that you genuinely love because that's what's going to keep you coming back for more and learning more in the process.
Exactly. Turn language learning into an adventure, a chance to explore new worlds and connect with amazing stories. Who knows what you might discover along the way.
This has been so eye-opening. Thank you so much for taking us on this journey through the world of language learning. I feel like we've given our listeners a lot to chew on today.
We have, but more importantly, I hope we've sparked a sense of curiosity and a passion for exploring new languages and cultures, because the world is full of incredible stories, just waiting to be discovered in whatever language you choose to learn them.
Beautifully said so. Until next time, happy learning, everyone.